Tonight, at precisely 3:14 a.m., millions of people around the world will suddenly open their eyes. The house will be silent, the darkness absolute, and a familiar, creeping anxiety will set in. I am awake, and I shouldn't be. We toss and turn. We calculate how much time is left before the alarm goes off. We call it sleep maintenance insomnia. We treat it with heavy medication, chamomile tea, and expensive weighted blankets. We view it as a glitch in our biology, a modern epidemic of broken brains that refuse to stay powered down. But what if the doctors are wrong? What if waking up at 3 a.m. isn't a disorder at all? What if it is a ghost of human history, a deeply buried genetic memory pulling you back to the way things were? For the vast majority of our existence on this planet, sleeping for 8 continuous hours wasn't just unusual. It was considered completely unnatural. If you could step into a time machine, travel back just 500 years, and explain your modern 8-hour sleep cycle to a peasant, they would look at you as if you were insane. They would probably ask you, but when do you pray in the silence? When do you talk to your family without the distractions of the sun? When do you experience the Dorveille? The greatest theft in human history wasn't land or gold. It was the theft of the night. To understand exactly what we lost, we have to forget everything we know about light. Look out your window tonight. Even at 2 a.m., the world is glowing. Street lamps paint the pavement orange, headlights sweep across the walls, and the subtle, inescapable blue light of your phone screen illuminates your face. True darkness no longer exists in the modern world. But for thousands of years, the setting of the sun meant something terrifying and absolute. Once the sun dipped below the horizon, humanity was plunged into an abyss. Candles were a luxury, burning animal fat was expensive and smelled horrific, and ordinary people simply couldn't afford to keep their houses lit. The night belonged to criminals, wild animals, and the cold. So, humanity did the only thing that made sense. A few hours after dusk, usually around 8 p.m. in the winter, they locked their doors, climbed into their beds, and went to sleep. But they didn't sleep until morning. Instead, they cut the night in half. Across nearly every pre-industrial culture, human sleep was divided into 2 distinct phases. They called the first phase the first sleep, or the dead sleep. It was heavy, exhausted slumber that lasted for about 4 hours. Then, right around midnight, something strange happened. Without an alarm clock, without a sudden noise, people would simply wake up. They wouldn't wake up in a cold sweat or a panic. They would open their eyes feeling refreshed, rested from their first phase of slumber. This wasn't a brief interruption to go to the bathroom. This was a dedicated, expected period of wakefulness right in the dead of night, lasting anywhere from 1 to 2 hours. The French had a beautiful name for it, Dorveille, which translates to wake sleep. It was a magical, liminal space, a bridge between the grueling exhaustion of the day just past and the harsh labor of the day to come. So, what exactly did people do in the pitch dark at 1 a.m.? If you were a peasant, you might get out of bed to throw another log on the dying fire, or check on the livestock to ensure wolves hadn't breached the barn. You might mend some clothes by the dim light of the embers, or brew a batch of ale. But the Dorveille was far more than just midnight chores. It was prime socializing time. In medieval times, entire families often shared one massive bed simply to survive the freezing temperatures. Lying awake in the dark, they would talk. It was a rare, uninterrupted moment of peace to discuss the events of the day, share stories, or plan for the winter, completely free from the demands of daylight labor. It wasn't even uncommon to leave the house. A man might light a lantern, walk down the muddy, freezing street, and knock on his neighbor's door, knowing full well his neighbor was also awake, just to share a pipe of tobacco or a cup of warm cider. For the religious, this gap in the night was intensely spiritual. The world was finally silent. Monks woke up for special midnight prayers. Ordinary people lay in the dark reflecting on their sins, or trying to decipher the profound meanings of the dreams they had just experienced during their first sleep. Even medical professionals of the era recognized the power of this time. A renowned 16th-century French physician named Laurent Joubert wrote, extensively that the best time for couples to conceive a child was not at the beginning of the night when they were exhausted from farming, but rather between the first and second sleep. He noted that couples were rested, relaxed, and intimately connected during the Dorveille. After an hour or two of this midnight activity, the drowsiness would gently return. The family would settle back under the heavy wool blankets, close their eyes, and enter the second sleep, or the morning sleep. This carried them through the rest of the dark hours, ending only when the sun crested the horizon and the rooster crowed. This biphasic sleep cycle was the absolute standard of human existence. It was so completely normal that for centuries, no one even bothered to write it down as a specific phenomenon. It was like breathing air. We only know about it today because of the obsessive work of a historian named Roger Kirch. For over 20 years, Kirch combed through dusty court records, ancient diaries, obscure medical texts, and forgotten literature. Like a detective looking for a ghost, he found the breadcrumbs. He discovered over 500 explicit references to the first and second sleep. It's written in Homer's Odyssey from ancient Greece. It's in the Canterbury Tales. It's even in the works of Charles Dickens. Before the modern era, sleeping in two chunks wasn't an anomaly. It was the only way human beings knew how to rest. So, who killed the Dorveille? Who stole our peaceful midnight wakefulness and replaced it with the anxiety of the 8-hour block? The murder of human sleep was a joint operation carried out by two unstoppable forces: the Industrial Revolution and the invention of artificial light. In the 17th century, the first street lamps appeared in major cities like Paris and London. Suddenly, the night was no longer an abyss of terror. The streets glowed. The night was instantly transformed from a time of danger into a time of commerce and entertainment. Pubs stayed open later. Theaters thrived. The wealthy began hosting extravagant midnight parties. Going to bed right after sunset started to be viewed as primitive, something only poor, uneducated rural farmers did. If you were wealthy and sophisticated, you stayed up late to conquer the night. But the fatal blow came with the incandescent light bulb. Thomas Edison didn't just invent a way to light a room. He invented a way to hack human biology. The setting of the sun, which had dictated human behavior for 300,000 years, suddenly meant absolutely nothing. With the flip of a switch, night became day. Simultaneously, the factories of the Industrial Revolution demanded bodies. Before this, humans worked according to agricultural time, guided by the sun and the seasons. But a factory doesn't care about the sun. A factory needs to run at maximum efficiency, generating maximum profit. The wealthy industrialists demanded that workers arrive at a strict, non-negotiable time early in the morning. This created a biological crisis. We were staying up later and later because the artificial light tricked our brains into thinking it was still daytime, but the factory whistle still screamed at 6 a.m. We literally no longer had enough hours of darkness to afford a 2-hour waking gap in the middle of the night. Sleep had to be compressed. It had to be optimized. The Dorveille was eradicated. Over the course of a single century, lying awake in the middle of the night went from being a peaceful, spiritual experience to a massive waste of time. Time was now money. If you weren't sleeping, you were supposed to be working. If you lay awake in the dark, you were considered lazy, unproductive, and eventually sick. Today, we are expected to operate like the machines we built. We power down at 11 p.m., we remain completely offline for 8 uninterrupted hours, and we power back up at 7 a.m. But human DNA does not evolve as fast as technology. In the 1990s, psychiatrist Thomas conducted a groundbreaking experiment. He took a group of modern people and stripped them of all artificial light for 14 hours a day, throwing them back into the lighting conditions of the medieval winter. For the first few weeks, the subject just slept heavily, paying off years of modern sleep debt. But by the 4th week, something miraculous happened. Without any clocks, without any alarms, their biology remembered. Their sleep patterns naturally broke in half. They began sleeping for 4 hours, waking up for 2 hours of quiet peace, and sleeping for 4 more. Strip away the light bulbs and the glowing screens, and the human body instantly reverts to the ancient rhythm of the Dorveille. So, the next time you wake up at 3 a.m. and the house is completely silent, do not look at your clock. Do not panic. Do not let the anxiety of the modern world convince you that you are broken. Your brain is simply reaching back through time, doing exactly what it has done for millennia. You are experiencing the Dorveille. Keep the lights off. Don't look at your phone screen. Let your thoughts wander in the dark. Embrace the ghost of the midnight watch. And eventually, when your body is ready, your second sleep will come. You now know a secret about your own biology that the modern world has desperately tried to erase. If this forgotten ghost of human history left you completely speechless, make sure to subscribe to the channel, because next time, we will explore a mystery that goes even deeper into the shadows of the human mind. Until then, tell me in the comments, do you wake up at 3 a.m.? And if so, what do you do in the dark?